Dear Spirit, please connect me with a past loved one of any of my subscribers or anyone who will be watching this video. I am being shown the image of a little girl. I'm being shown her as being around 5 or 6 years old, perhaps. She has blonde curls and wears 2 pigtails, one on each side of her head. She's a bright, sunshiny girl. And the weird thing is that Spirit is showing me her. Spirit is only showing me half of her. And as I've been trained as a midwife and have studied anatomy, the way her image is coming through is that I can see half of her body on the sagittal plane. So, as I'm looking at her, it would be her left, my right. As I ask Spirit why I'm being shown only half of her, the words that came through are remaining and remains. I received the word orbital and velocity. Also the word frequency. I received the word motherhood and the name of the character, Nancy Drew. Just before and throughout this reading, I've received several references to the movie E.T. The song Turn On Your Heart Light by Neil Diamond has come through a few times, and now the image of the little blonde girl. This is referencing the little girl who I was shown with blonde pigtails. A little girl who looks similar to that. Spirit, please show me the spirit who is coming through. I received the word Virginia. And although this can be a name, I am getting that it is the name of a state. The state where this little girl lived. And Spirit is showing me this little girl running around in a field of wildflowers. This little girl is a being of light. She has a light within her that is very bright. And she receives downloads. She's directly connected with Source and with higher dimensional beings. This little girl, when she was alive, may have reported seeing otherworldly beings. She was not afraid of these connections. There was nothing to be afraid of, Spirit is saying. These were her guides. am connecting with a masculine energy. This masculine energy is a brother of this little girl, or someone who would be considered brother-like, someone who is very protective over her. This energy presents himself as he's not showing himself as a person. He's showing himself as an energy, a looming energy, something big and broad that is watching out for her, that is protecting her in the physical and non-physical realms. He is making my heart feel warm, and he is telling me that he loves his sister. He is differentiating himself in the physical realm and the non-physical. In the physical realm, he was looking for answers. But now I have them, he says. Now I can see everything, he says. There is something about the 1980s, this movie, the E.T. movie. He's likening himself to Elliot and the little girl as his sister. This spirit had some kind of close connection with this movie and his sister. I received the words hidden secret and hidden truth. He's indicating to me some kind of similarity in him and his sister's life with the E.T. movie. He's showing me the part of the movie where the government comes in and seals off their house. He's giving me the word steals them. He's telling me that the government stole his sister. He's giving me the word imprisonment. This spirit is showing me some weird operation happening to his sister. It's a secret operation, and it's like a dissection, and that is why I was shown earlier this little girl, only half of her on the sagittal plane. He is telling me that they operated on her because she was a suspected hybrid, like an alien-human hybrid. He is showing me this little girl in school, and there being a teacher who is part of this, whatever it is, this this government entity. This teacher is part of observing children, reporting about children, identifying children who have extensive spiritual gifts or some kind of deep knowledge, some kind of known or observable connection to God or to the higher realms or to aliens or whatever it is they're looking for. This child was reported by their teacher or someone in their school. He is telling me this because he's telling me this, and he's coming to me because he knows I have brought through earlier information in prior readings about child trafficking in schools due to the observation of children by teachers and administrators and employees. These people are connected to, he's giving me the word services, disguised. He's saying they are using their please help me to say this. They're using their occupations to identify children or families, he's saying, who have access to higher knowledge, he is saying. But there's other things that they're involved with. Churches, he is saying. Other services, businesses, things that appear to serve the public or humanity. They are connected to these things. I'm being given sorry, everything's coming at once. I'm being shown underground tunnels, churches, secret societies, networks, he's saying. Orphanages, he's saying. There's something having to do with secret societies and orphanages. There's a major connection here with child trafficking, he's saying. And there's a lot of money to be made here, he's saying. I was asking him why a teacher would be involved, and that's what he told me. He is giving me the words, underground railways. I'm asking him about railways. And so I'm like, is there literally underground railways? What is this? And he's giving me the image of, it's kind of hard to describe, but he's giving me like the Underground Railroad from Harriet Tubman times. And what he's showing me is that there are secret tunnels, and some of them not so secret. These are sewers, and some of them are secret, he's saying. Miles and miles of tunnels underground, built by masons, secret societies. There's so many connected things. Many of these tunnels were built for municipal purposes. This was the reason. This was the reason given, he's saying. And while they could have served that purpose, the expansiveness, it's like, for example, a city might need a tunnel to divert rainwater. But the tunnel goes for miles and miles and miles, way outside of the city, or something like that. There's multiple purposes, he's saying, for these tunnels, and trafficking is what they're used for. Secret meetings as well, he's saying. He's giving me the word gaslighting. And basically, the people who have constructed these things, they know that all they have to do is say, we've surveyed the land, we know this city is liable for flooding, or I don't know, something like that. They have the excuses. They have the gaslighting measures to tell the public, the media, anyone in government who might question them. They have reasons to make their racket, is what he's saying, to make their racket possible. And they also have extensive, he's giving me the word brotherhood, extensive networks, not just brothers, he's saying. He's showing me female teachers, female church members, some kind of sisterhood as well. But a lot of these women or sisters are connected to these men. Self-sustaining is the word he's giving me. Everyone's in on it, he's saying. Everyone in regards to the secret society, brotherhood, and their wives, their children even, their families, their networks, their business partners, people in government they know, people in law enforcement, attorneys. And he's bringing me back around to the orphanages. The trafficking agencies are the agencies, he's showing me adoption agencies, schools, churches, orphanages. They're in on it. They purport to help children. They exist under the guise of helping children. And he's... The metaphor he's giving me is like an expanse of fertile soil where flowers grow. Unique, individual wildflowers. And they are given this opportunity to grow. They are given resources, food, time to grow. And then they are observed, identified, and plucked. He gave me the word impoverished. Also the word need. He's indicating orphanages. He gave me the words highlight and sight. Also the words Mother Earth and Mother Moon. Also the word parable. Yeah, this Mother Earth and Mother Moon and parables, he's telling me that children are tested. They're given, depending on their environment, they're given like spiritual testing of the waters, testing of their connection to source or higher beings. They are given assignments or lessons or storytelling opportunities to hear stories as well as to write stories, to engage with topics of higher connection. This Mother Earth and Mother Moon has to do with concepts of as above, so below. And he's giving me the Neil Diamond song, Turn On Your Heart Light. And there's the end of the song where he repeats, turn on your heart light now. Turn on your heart light now. Turn on your heart light now. And he's talking about, first of all, this is a chant. There's definitely magical practices happening in regards to this enterprise and the stealing of children via identifying their, he's giving me the word marked. In order to be marked, you have to be identified. These children with high spiritual natures are identified, and they're done so with the aid of magical practices, getting children to show their light, putting them in whatever scenario, getting them to show their light without them knowing that they're doing it. Basically, like putting them in situations where they disclose about themselves or they reveal themselves. The children are put into situations where they reveal their high spiritual nature on purpose. This is elicited from them purposefully, from adults who are doing it for a purpose. Trafficking, he is saying. And he is reminding me of this operation which happened to his sister. And he is giving me the words top and elite. And he is differentiating children who are trafficked for different purposes. He's Okay. What he's showing me is children who are, it's hard to describe. And empath is the word that's coming through. Basically, they are identified as empathic, soft, weak, otherworldly. He's giving me these words that are indicating like a malleable energy, a manipulatable energy. This is what he's saying is identifying these children and then sorted, he's saying. He's giving me the words, "Thy kingdom come." Oh my gosh. So, well, first of all, thy kingdom come is referring to the interests of the church, in particular, Christian church. And I know there's many different sects of Christianity, but there's more than one sect involved. So what he's showing me is a hierarchy of sorts. There is like different levels of all of this. And each level has their own involvement, their own interests in children, in identifying them, in stealing them. For example, the church would be interested in identifying children of a gifted nature, bloodlines and families who are related to prominent religious figures, such as Jesus or Mary, Abraham, David, or anyone associated with, in particular, the major three religions. For example, these churches have community members, which are also involved with businesses, charities, brotherhoods, secret societies, schools. People in the ground level, I guess, is, I don't know what else to call it, but it's like, if I were to, if I'm trying to describe what he's saying about, like, the interests of people on the ground, for lack of better words. Like, why would someone be involved with this? Like, why would a relative be involved with this? Or why would a neighbor be involved with this? This is what I mean by ground level. And he's showing me that, there's money involved. So they can receive money from whatever they're doing. Whatever illegal activity, organized crime that is required for them to pull all of this stuff off. There's large amounts of money involved. But there's other interests that motivate these ground level people, such as business opportunities, like just simply having community, having support. Like, you would, as a leader, you would need community, you would need a support or a backing. So there's that kind of interest, as well as fame, some kind of importance, some kind of status. And he's saying there is a level of reinforcement involved. Like, once you get wrapped up in it, you're in it. There's an obligation. People are expecting you to do certain things, as well as to remain quiet, he's saying. There are oaths involved. He's giving me the word tattletales and the word ground. He's telling me that people involved knowingly, who are doing this kind of thing, illegal things, and who know of other people doing illegal things, if they are to express what is going on, their lives are in danger. They are expected to. He's saying disappear. That's the word he's giving me. So, in whatever case, a person might disappear, whether that be through death or some other way. He's bringing me back to the surgery. And he's talking about government interest. There's an interest of the government to understand about aliens. He's showing me adoption agencies. Not only is there interest in large amounts of money, but they have deep ties with child trafficking. There's a fine balance in power, like whoever the adoption agencies have to work with or for. For example, adoption agencies would work with the government as well as churches, orphanages, businesses. Everyone is expected to be quiet. And the money flow is dependent on this quietude, he's saying, because they get their money through these connections as well as through their business itself. But it's maintained through their silence, he's saying. And he's giving me the word protection. They are protected by being silent. This spirit, this big brother of this little girl who's communicating with me, he's a big energy. That's why he's a protector. He's protecting many children. And he's basically just showing me that he's draped his energy all over the entire United States, which is where I am. He's bringing me to a science classroom. And so he wants me to be clear that it's not just young children who are being affected in this way, it's older children as well. Middle school and high school as well. He's saying that in prior readings, information about DNA has come through, and DNA being used to identify bloodlines, families, individuals, children, to figure out whether they are related to Jesus or any of the figures I mentioned earlier. He's showing me a science classroom in which children do science projects, experiments in school, and in which they are prompted to provide dead skin cells, hair, saliva, in order to perform these science experiments for their assignments, for their lessons, and that there are cases, schools and teachers who are involved with obtaining these samples for the purposes of DNA testing and identifying children who are associated with certain bloodlines. For some reason, he's bringing me to the tunnel system. an underground tunnel system. He's showing me like a lab underground and giving me reference to a prior reading about there being like an underground cave-like cellar, like it's man-made. In a prior reading, this is referenced to be associated with either a university or some major estate, like a major family that would have a lot of money, old money. So it would be associated with, a prominent figure in history, in business, and things like that. But the tunnel is associated with labs and underground ongoings, he's saying. He's showing me he's showing me underground rituals, dark magic, and things happening to bodies involving dissection, surgery, whatever. Sacrifices, he's saying. He's given me the name Jessica, and he is pointing to his sister. Also the name The spirit is bringing me back to the E.T. movie, back to him when he was alive with his sister. This was in the 80s. This happened quite some time ago. And it's still happening now, he's saying. This spirit is making me want to cry. He's trying to bring justice. And the names he gave me, Jerry, Rob, and Jessica. He's telling me that his brother is still alive. He's telling me that his brother knows what happened. Intuitively, he knows. He's hoping to reach his brother. And I'm not sure if it's Jerry or Rob. He's giving me the words old school and mold school. His brother will know what this means. I want to thank this spirit for coming through, and I am disconnecting now.